The Iranian president was accompanied by a high-level delegation, including the foreign minister. During the visit, the president of Iran met the president of Pakistan, held talks with the prime minister, and the chief of army staff and the chief of defense forces also called on the Iranian president. In formal delegation-level talks between the visiting president and our prime minister, the two sides reviewed the full spectrum of bilateral relations and explored avenues to further deepen cooperation across diverse sectors, including trade, energy, border security, people-to-people exchange, as well as regional connectivity. The ongoing peace process following the signing of Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, as well as regional and international developments of mutual interests, were also discussed. On 18th June, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, His Excellency Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif, had announced the historic Islamabad MOU was electronically signed between the United States and Iran. And as a follow-up of the signing of the Islamabad MOU, Pakistan, along with Qatar, hosted the first high-level committee meeting under the framework in Bergenstock, Switzerland, on 21st of June. From Pakistan, the talks were attended by Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif, the Chief of Army Staff and the Chief of Defense Forces, Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir, the U.S. Vice President, His Excellency J.D. Vance, and the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, His Excellency Muhammad Baghar Ghalibaf, headed the respective delegations. And as you know, the Qatari side was represented by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani. The meeting was successful in helping two parties reach an understanding on various aspects of the implementation of the Islamabad MOU. The first high-level committee meeting in pursuant of this concluded with the issuance of a joint statement by Pakistan and Qatar as a mediator. You all covered the joint statement, but let me just highlight a few of its very salient aspects. As we proceed in the peace process, these steps will be guiding the negotiation process. One is the establishing a high-level committee for political oversight for mediation. Two is chief negotiators will report regularly to the high-level committee and lead working groups focused on nuclear sanctions and monitoring and dispute resolution groups for effective implementation of the MOU and all others matter. Number three, the agreement has been reached upon a roadmap towards reaching a final deal in 60 days. And four, forming a communication line between the parties to avoid incident and miscommunication with the aim of safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. And five, creation of a deconfliction cell between the parties, the Lebanese government, and of course, the mediators will facilitate that. And as agreed in the joint statement, and follow-up of that, a technical committee meeting was held between the parties in Bergenstock on 22nd June, mediated by Pakistan and Qatar. In their capacity as mediators, the technical teams from Pakistan and Qatar will continue to remain engaged with technical teams from the US and Iran in the coming weeks for effective implementation of the Islamabad MOU. Ladies and gentlemen, let me add here that the Islamabad MOU and the Lucerne Summit reinforce our faith in dialogue and diplomacy as the most effective means for peaceful settlement of disputes and conflicts. Pakistan welcomes the positive recognition and encouraging remarks from various countries, partners, and members of the international community regarding our constructive role in promoting regional peace, dialogue, and de-escalation efforts. Such recognition reflects international community's trust on Pakistan's commitment, on Pakistan as well as in Pakistan's commitment to advancing dialogue, peace, security, and stability across the region and beyond. Pakistan extends its sincere appreciation to all countries and partners that have expressed support for our efforts. And at this juncture, let me also wish to acknowledge the responsible and constructive role played by you, Pakistan's media, throughout this process. Pakistan's media demonstrated professionalism and maturity by respecting the strict requirements of confidentiality, discretion, and trust that are indispensable to any credible facilitator or mediation effort. The media, you were very patient. You restrained yourself and avoided speculation and sensationalism, which contributed positively to an environment conducive to dialogue and confidence-building measure. This responsible conduct is both commendable and reflective of media's broader commitment to serving the national interest while upholding the highest professional standards. And we hope that as the negotiation process moves forward, we will get cooperation and support from our distinguished media colleagues as well. Ladies and gentlemen, turning on to R4, on 21st of June, the fourth meeting of the foreign ministers of 4 regional countries, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt, held in Cairo. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Senator Mohammad Ishaq Dar led the Pakistan's delegation. The meeting brought together the foreign minister from the 3 countries that I mentioned. And overall, they reviewed the progress on Islamabad MOU, which was signed just on the occasion of this, few days prior to it, but the Bergenstock meeting and this R4 meeting practically coincided on the same day. So we took stock of this progress on the peace process, particularly with respect to the Islamabad MOU and the Bergenstock talks. The R4 states also issued a joint statement, which you covered extensively. The Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Senator Mohammad Ishaq Dar, during his stay in Egypt, along with the Foreign Ministers of Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Turkey, made a joint call to His Excellency Mr. Abdul Fattah al-Sisi, the President of Arab Republic of Egypt. During the meeting, the DPM conveyed warm greetings and best wishes of the President, the Prime Minister, the Chief of Defense Forces to President al-Sisi. And prior to this, R4 meeting, the DPM and Foreign Minister continued his robust diplomatic outreach through engagements with counterparts from a number of friendly countries. And let me very briefly give you a roundup of these engagements in the last 10 days or so. On 12th and 13th June, the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister spoke with the Swiss Foreign Minister. On the same day, with the Foreign Minister of Turkey and Egypt. On 12th June, the EU High Representative and the Vice President held a telephone conversation with the DPM. On 13th June, the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia was engaged in a telephone call, and on 15th with the Foreign Minister of Italy. Same day with the Foreign Minister of Japan. On 16th with the Foreign Minister of China. 17th with the Foreign Minister of Turkey and Egypt. 18th with the Foreign Minister of Canada, Bahrain, Egypt, Azerbaijan, Turkey. And on 19th and 20th June, in the intervening period, the Foreign Minister of Iran and Uzbekistan held telephone conversations with the Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. Turning on to another important issue, ladies and gentlemen, which has been on your priority, is the hijacking of the Somali hijacking of the ship with Pakistani crew members by Somali pirates. The government's response: it was decided to pursue negotiations and humanitarian channels as the primary means of securing the release of the seafarers while maintaining close engagements with the families of the hostage. Pakistan is also exploring assistance of friendly countries and relevant interlocutors, the international organizations, to support this efforts. Local NGOs as well, good offices of Mr. Ansar Barni, whom our additional Foreign Secretary, Ambassador Hamid Asghar, has also met. So these efforts continue, and we would continue to update you on this matter, but this is an issue which is also very close to our hearts because of the involvement of the families, and we can understand their pain. But as I said, the release is a difficult situation which is being addressed. Turning on to Palestine, on 18th June, Pakistan joined the 8 Islamic Arab countries in issuing a joint statement condemning the strongest term the continued escalating violence in against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, including the recent attack on the Grand Mosque in the village of Jaliliya and Al Farouk near Ramallah. The signatories stressed that these attacks constitute a clear violation of the sanctity of the worship, religious sites, international law, and as well as international humanitarian law and relevant UN Security Council resolution. This week, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan also facilitated a repatriation of 30 Iranian nationals, including 8 Iranian fishermen rescued by the British vessel MMA Valor after their boat ran aground, and 22 Iranian crew members from the vessel Lanon Davina, which was interdicted by the US authorities. We remain in close contact with the Iranian, US and UK authority to ensure safe transit of Iranian nationals to their homeland, and we remain committed to the humanitarian cooperation extended to all parties possible. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, from New York, on initiative of Pakistan, supported by Denmark, the UN Security Council unanimously adopted Resolution 2223 this week, Resolution number 2823 this week, to strengthen accountability for crimes against the United Nations peacekeepers. As you know, United Nations peacekeepers have suffered attacks and as a result have suffered casualties. So this resolution was in terms of accountability for those crimes. The initiative was co-sponsored by 153 UN member states. Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Asim Iftikhar Ahmed, introduced the resolution in the Security Council, after which it was unanimously adopted. The resolution reaffirms that attacks on peacekeepers are unacceptable and may constitute war crimes, while calling for credible investigations, prosecutions, and accountability for perpetrators. And it also mandated an annual progress report on this matter from the United Nations Secretariat and the appointment of a senior UN focal point on this matter. The resolution reflects Pakistan's leadership role in enhancing safety and effectiveness of UN peacekeeping reforms as well as UN peacekeeping operations. With this, I conclude my opening statement and the floor is open for question answers.
इस्लामाबाद में तर्जुमान दफ्तर खर्चा ताहिर हुसैन इंदरावी की हफ्तावार न्यूज़ ब्रीफिंग जारी है। कहा गया कि दूसरा ग्रुप पाबंदियों और मुंजमद असासों के उमूर का जायज़ा ले रहा है, जो कि इस वक्त की अहम ज़रूरत है, जबकि इस्लामाबाद में उनके जानिब से हफ्तावार न्यूज़ ब्रीफिंग दी गई। तीसरा ग्रुप लबनान की सूरत हाल पर काम करेगा। मुख्तलिफ मुल्कों ने ख़त्े में क़याम अमन के लिए किरदार पर पाकिस्तान की तारीफ़ की है। कहा गया पाकिस्तान इलाक़ाई अमन के लिए अपने तामीर किरदार पर आलमी बरादरी की सताइश का खैर मकदम करता है।
सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल दबाएं ताकि कोई खबर रह न जाए।